What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got UFC Fight Night, Holloway versus Allen. Quick predictions breakdown here, guys. Not gonna spend too long on this card. We got 14 fights in this card over there in Kansas City, Missouri. Before I get started, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel. Also, sign up to my Patreon account for all face-off predictions and prop plays. You can also donate to my PayPal account to help out the channel so I can do this more full-time, which I'll be getting some donations. I really appreciate that. And some sign-ups to the Patreon, so keep them coming. I really appreciate the love here, guys. Before I get started here, though, Easy and Alex Pereira, man. No, man. Easy is a smart dude, man. He trained specifically for that. He basically played possum. That's what he did. He basically went out there, strike for a little bit, and he let Alex kick him a little bit in his legs and kind of touch him up a little bit, and then he drawed him in to the same position that he was in from the last fight, and kind of shelled up a little bit like he was kind of hurt. And in between the shelling up, you always remember that the best time to catch somebody is when they're in transition, is when they're striking, like what Bruce Lee says, the way of intercepting fist or foot. You intercept them while they're striking. That's exactly what happened. Alex, he didn't respect the power from Izzy. And I noticed something about Alex, though, that Alex is hittable. But he's a heavy hitter. But he's also hittable, right? And he just threw everything, like, punch his knees. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna win, and then Izzy countered him. He did a little bit of kind of bunks off the cage a little bit and come back. So when he hit him with a punch, he kind of bunks off the cage. He kind of went back in the cage and springed off the cage and come back. And then Lando's 3 shots and then knocked him down. And then Lando, I guess a hammer fist or a hammer elbow or whatever it is. So that was he said exactly what he was gonna do. So he knew that the only way to beat Alex is not to shy away from him, in a sense of like, being on the back foot too much, because then that's going to favor Alex because he's a power hitter and Alex is going to be chasing him down. So he knew that, toe to toe, he may not win that fight. So he plotted, he played possum and kind of drew him in, give him that the false sense of security. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get him again, just like the first time I fought. I'm gonna knock him on, and then bam, he cornered him. And I believe there's videos out there with him practicing that. So he's just a smart dude, man. He plotted well. He's trained specifically for that, and it was a good win. Hats off to Alex. Hopefully, everything is okay, which it seemed like he's okay. To get knocked out like that, it was a pretty aggressive, pretty bad knockout, man. Also, guys, remember too, my MMA odds breakdown at the end of the fights. Listen to those too when I tell you that the odds on the guys are too high, because especially on that Easy card, I actually said a lot of things, even against with Font. With like a Font and what's that dude name? Font and like I would give tips, man. I will actually give you tips. I would say go dog or under or pass the fight. So always listen to what I say, when I'm breaking on MMA odds, when I'm actually looking at the odds too. Front versus Adrian. So, that fight, that's what it is, Looks like Adrian is a little bit more, still on the, the learning side of things. It's still kind of, I wouldn't say it's green, but Font is a very experienced guy and Font faced up a competition. So you can see it was just like a big brother kind of beating up a little brother, man, in a kind of sense, It's like Font kind of set him up in a kind of way, kind of caught him. And then the fight was stopped. But then there was other fights in the cards too where, I express, if I say, the odds in this don't look right, majority of the time, you want to go the other way. A lot of times or sometimes I may not give you guys exactly the prediction I was going to win, but if I see something in the odds and it looks kind of off, I would express it and say, hey man, this is not good. You know, the guy is too high. And there's other fights in there that odds were kind of off too. But I'll listen to my odds breakdown because I could give a lot of hints from there, and you guys can make a decision also. Also, like I said, check out the Patreon. A lot of face-off predictions. I believe I put up one or two prop plays in there that I actually hit too. So sign up to that Patreon, and the donations to the PayPal, loving it. Just keep them rolling, man. All right, that's not the sort real quick here, guys. 14 fights on this card. It's a good card, you know. Every card to me is going to be good, man. Because, I mean, even if you don't know the fighters, and when you watch the fight, it's like, oh man. And you know, a lot of times the people who you don't know sometimes put on the best exciting fights because it's the first time fighting, and they want to make an impression. You know what I mean? There's sometimes when you have guys in mind that are well too known, you know, sometimes they don't really give it all they got, you know, because they don't want to lose. But when you have guys who are unknown, they want to, you know, they want to put a mark, you know, they're going to showcase their skills, you know, and they will give it all they got, which make the fight exciting. So first fighter, guys, we got Justin Edwards versus Lucie Pudilová. Justin Edwards here, she will push up pace, but her base, her foundation, in my opinion, is not that good. I see a lot of holes. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like I said, guys, I'm not here to disrespect the fighters, but that's just what from I see. From me doing this, you know, training for my whole life. I've been training from 4 years old. You know, different kind of martial arts styles: MMA, karate, kung fu, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, everything. Wrestling. I'm training a lot of different things. So, and boxing, everything. So, I got the eye for it. I can feel it. I can see it. Right. So I feel her foundation is not that sharp. Right. But she has heavy hands though, and she will push off a pace, aggressive pace. Right. So nothing really from her really stands out except for maybe her heavy hand. Probably her chin is kind of high up. She's hittable. Her range and timing is not really there. It's kind of off. You know, she would throw a lot of shots and they're just missing. A lot of kicks are thrown on the outside, you know, just hitting wind, you know. Her opponent here, Lucie Pudilová, you remember her, she'd been in the UFC from way back, and she left and came back, right? You know, she fought a lot of tough women, you know. Irene Aldana, Liz Comus, Antonia Shevchenko, Lena Landsberg. You know, she fought a lot of tough women here. With Lucie Pudilová here, I feel like she's a more experienced woman here, and she has more in the toolbox. You know, with Edwards, she can get taken down, and I just feel Lucie's just more well-rounded. Even if Lucie has a hard time with her striking, which I feel Lucie's striking is even better, she can even go for double and single legs and get a takedown. You know, that is what I feel, you know. So I'm going to go with Lucie here, guys, by decision. And I'm not confident. Like I said, when it comes sometimes to the women fights, you have to be careful because sometimes they will drop the ball. And the guys will also drop the ball too. But sometimes it's just depending on the caliber of fight. I won't say this is a high caliber fight, but Lucie is okay, but it's not really a high caliber fight. So you got to be careful. It's not like a Shevchenko, you know, or Amanda Nunes kind of fight this. So I'm going to go with Lucie Pudilová. I'm going to say Lucie Pudilová by decision. And I'm going to say Lucie by 60%. You know, so it's 60-40. So I give Lucie 60% of, you know, for winning the fight. Okay. Next fight here, guys. We have Gastón Bolaños versus Aaron Phillips. Gastón, the guys remember this guy, at least if you watch the fights, coming from Bellator here, is a pretty decent kickboxer here. Coming off a Bellator, but you know, Bellator not too bad here. You know, I lost a couple fights in Bellator here by split decision, and I also got submitted twice. His striking is not bad. He has a kickboxing base in him. You know, his striking is high level, I would say. A lot of spinning technique, especially the spinning elbows. He would catch you coming in with that spinning elbow counter. He manages his distance in the range pretty well, but he can get submitted and he can get taken down though. But he has been working on it though, you know. So he revenged his fight against Daniel Carey here, which he showed that, you know, which Daniel Carey did submit him with a guillotine choke, but he can get submitted though. So, but his striking is, you know, it's pretty technical, and he manages his range and distances pretty well. But he can drop the ball though. So this is gonna be his debut. So he's fighting a guy named Phillips here, who used to be in the UFC too. Aaron Phillips. actually, did he fight? Yeah, he was in UFC way back here. He fought Chris Gutierrez in WFC. Sam Cecilia here. So this guy's a little bit of a veteran kind of vibe because he fought in UFC before, and I know he's making his comeback here. At least he lost to Jack Shore in his recent. But he hasn't fought in like 3 years. So, from what I see from him, in MMA, he's gonna have the more experience in MMA. I believe he's a BJJ black belt. But man, he doesn't really. He will push the takedowns, but he doesn't really chain wrestle like that. He doesn't really grind consistently, right? He more wants to strike. He can get flat-footed. When it comes to striking, I feel like Bolaños is a better striker here. But the more well-roundedness, I would say, is Phillips. But like I said, Phillips is not really like a chain wrestler. That's going to consistently take down. Like an example here, with Gastón Bolaños fight here against a guy named Solo. Solo Holly. He lost a fight because the guy was chain wrestling him, just take him down. The guy was known as a wrestler. The guy is a wrestler. So it was grinding, right? So with this fight here, if the fight stays standing up, I would favor Bolaños for the win here, in my opinion. But again, anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, Phillips is an experienced guy here and is a veteran in MMA. But when it comes to like the kickboxing, the striking, I gotta give it to Bolaños. And I feel this fight most likely it's gonna be a stand-up fight. And Phillips may push a little bit of takedown, but I feel Bolaños has been working his takedown defense. It's not going to be like a hardcore wrestling from Phillips. So I'm going to go with Bolaños here, guys. And I'm going to say Bolaños by TKO in the first round. And it could be that spinning elbow, guys. But I'm not confident. And this fight here, guys, I'm going to say 50-50. Because Bolaños is, like I said, he's a good kickboxer, man. But I don't feel he's that well-rounded. But he has been working in his takedown defense. And he can get back up and sprawl, but he can get caught. And Aaron Phillips is a BJJ black belt. You know what I mean? So that's the thing to look at here. But Aaron Phillips hasn't fought in 3 years. He has 2 submissions. You know what I mean? And Bolaños has been submitted. I think I showed it like twice, right? And twice. So I'm gonna go with Bolaños here. I just feel like he's more sharper, more precise. Distance, range, timing is pretty good. I'm going to go Bolaños KO, TKO first round, and it could be that spinning elbow, guys. Not confident, 50-50. Next fight, guys, I got Bruna Brasil versus Denise Gomes. This one here, man, I went back and forth. But I think I went back and forth like 3 times in this fight, right? We take a look at Brasil here, right? Bruna Brasil, right? She got the 4 inch of height and 3 inch of reach, which is massive, right? She would push a pace, coming forward, light in the feet. She's good with the movement. Kind of remind me of Marina Rodriguez in a kind of way. She have that kind of that body set. Like her the way her body shape and how she strike is like Rodriguez, right? She will look for the takedown. She will mix it up with the strikes, kind of touch you on the outside and move around, pick her shots. Doesn't really throw much volume. She's more like a technician. She will touch you and counter strike, right? And she's good in the clinch. Like I said, she reminds me of Marina Rodriguez, right? The funny thing about this fight is that Gomes has beat Marina Rodriguez, I believe, in an amateur kickboxing match. So Gomes has beat Marina Rodriguez before, from what I heard. I could be wrong about that. So Gomes here also came out the contender series like Bruna did. They both came out the contender series, but Gomes has fought Lumo before. And, she put up a good fight there. The thing about Gomes here, she can get flat-footed, and she starts slow in the first, but she keeps a high pace though. And then after a while, she just keep coming forward, like she's a dog. Basically, she's a dog, right? She can get taken down in control, but she scrambled back up. Like I said, from what I heard, she just beat Rodriguez in a kickboxing match. And when I look at Bruno is pretty much similar to Rodriguez as far as the body build and the kind of the length and the kind of strikes. It's pretty similar. So when I look at this fight here, man, Gomes already fought in UFC already. And Bruna making her debut here. Certain things I don't really like about Bruna is that she don't really throw a high pace, and she looks to counter a lot. And it seems like if she can't finish you, then she starts to slow down, and you can back her up. She doesn't really like pressure. You can get her down, and then once you get her down, she will look for submission, right? If you look at Gomes here, Gomes has never been finished. That's the whole thing about this fight. And Gomes is a dog. She's going to keep that high pressure on you. And she can take a hitting, take a licking, and keep on ticking, keep coming forward. She's been knocked out one time, but she's never been submitted though. Can Bruno, finish her? Yeah, it's possible she can. It's possible. Right? Bruno can finish her with a strike. She can counter strike her. Right? This is a tough one here, guys. This one is definitely a 50-50 for me, and I went back and forward a lot. I just feel with Bruno is the volume. She doesn't really throw a lot, but she looks to counter, and after a while she slows down. And when she's on the back foot, when she's slowing down, she doesn't look good. There's some fighters that can carry that pace, by going backwards and carry that pace, and looks good doing it. Like Anderson Silva, they can carry that pace and looks good doing it. With Bruna here, she will slow down. Once if she can't finish you or get you out in that first round, she starts to slow down, and you can take her down. And especially when you start to dog her up, like put her against a cage and dirty box her, she just doesn't look good anymore. And in a fight like this, this could be one of those split decision fights just because of volume that's thrown by Denise Gomes. So I'm going to go with Denise Gomes here for the win, guys. I'm going to say Denise Gomes by decision. And I'm not confident here because, like I said, Bruno could finish Denise by counter-strike. Because Bruno, like I said, her striking is not bad. She's very technical. Kind of remind me of Marina Rodriguez. But, again, Denise has beat Marina Rodriguez before, so she dealt with that kind of height and reach and that kind of striking, right? So I'm going to go with Gomes by decision. 50-50, not confident, guys, at all. All right? Zero confidence in this. It's a fight that you can probably even fade, to be honest. All right? Next fight, we got Lando Vannata versus Daniel Zellhuber. Damn, they're going crazy in these fights here. Lando Vannata here is this guy's a dog, man. I mean, this guy comes to fight, very experienced guy. He would take this fight anywhere. He could look for submissions. He can get submitted, but he's hittable though. He's hittable, but he never been knocked out. But he's hittable. Daniel Zellhuber here. We all know about this guy. He had a fight with Trey and just never fought. Came out there. He's gonna have the 4-inch of reach. Sorry, he's gonna have the 4-inch of height and the 6-inch of reach over Lando, which is freaking massive as hell. But he didn't fight. He has skills, but he came to the fight and never really did much. Yeah, man. It's just a guy like Vannata is very experienced. And a guy like Trey, if he's not fighting with Trey, which Trey gave him like a karate kind of look there with an in and out, kicking his legs, kind of stay on the outside. Trey was touching him up, touching him. I see Vannata kind of doing the same thing, even though Vannata gonna have the smaller reach. But if Daniel don't let his hands go, then he's gonna get touched up in this fight, in my opinion. And if he's nervous with Trey, then he's gonna be nervous with Lando Vannata. It's a possibility, right? It's just hard to pick Daniel here, man. I mean, I know he's massive height and reach. I may make a change on face-offs depending on how it looks. How they look on the scale and how the body mannerisms, his eyes, you could tell if he's nervous or not. I'm saying the body language will tell everything. Just how they look, on the face-offs. I mean, I may make a change here, but I'm gonna go with Vannata here, guys. And this one I'm not confident at all because Daniel, could knock down Lando and then submit him. It's a possibility because, like I said, with Vannata, he's very hittable. And Daniel, he has a reach and height. He should win this. He's supposed to can win this fight. But from his last performance, man, it's like he doesn't pull it. If he doesn't, pull the trigger, he's not gonna. I just see Vannata bouncing in and out and touching him, styling on him. And with Lando Vannata, he has that kind of movement. He's very light on the feet, he's in and out, he's groovy. He's groovy, man. He's groovy with it, you know what I mean? So, and if Daniel just like, doesn't get his range and this, because in his fight against Trey, he problem with that fight that he couldn't get off because his distance and timing was off. Even though he had the reach, he just couldn't get off because Trey was in and out. Trey was giving him that karate look, that in and out, that footwork, and Lando Vannata has that same thing, but I feel Vannata does it better. So I'm going to go with Vannata here, guys. Vannata by decision and 50-50. Not confident at all because, like I said, if Daniel comes in there and let it go, then he will win, in my opinion. All right. Next fight here, we have Piera Rodríguez versus Gillian Robertson. This is a very interesting one here too, guys. With Piera Rodríguez here, in my opinion, I feel she's a good prospect. In my opinion, right? She listens to her corner very well. Because when I watch her fight, I hear the corner giving her, giving her instructions and everything. They say she does it right away. She doesn't even wait. Right? She follows up. She listens and she go and do exactly what the corner says. If the corner says turn, if the corner tell her to get off the cage and spin off the cage, she's already spinning off. And that's good to see a fighter does that. Listens to the corner like that because it shows that the fight IQ is good. They're capable of learning and taking instructions, right? With Rodriguez here, I feel she's a good fight IQ. She's a boxing base. She's wrestling. Her takedowns are pretty good, and she has a submission game too. Now with Robinson though, Robinson is crafty, man, and we all know what she wants. Gillian Robertson wants a submission. She wants a rear naked choke, right? She's experienced, what I'm saying, for a lot of women in the sport and a lot of submissions, right? So it's not like she don't have the skills to come in and win. She has one good thing about her, and that's her submissions. What I'm saying, and she's very elite with it. I'm saying, it's like high level. If she gets you, she's gonna submit you. She has 8 by submission, but her striking is nowhere as close as Robinson's own. Sorry, her striking is nowhere as close as Rodriguez. I feel Rodriguez has a better boxing, a better movement and timing, right? I feel with Gillian Robert, I feel she's one-dimensional, but she's working on her striking and getting better with it. But I just feel like Rodriguez is just more well-rounded, and Rodriguez, she can take this fight anywhere, and she knows the submissions, and she's more well-rounded. But like I said, anything is possible in this fight. I mean, Gillian can just get her back, just take her down and jump on her back, or we can just choke her out. But I feel with Rodriguez, if they study footages or corner, they seem like she has a very good corner. If they study the fights and study Gillian Robertson, and they can see that, okay, this girl just want to double and single leg, she want to push against the cage, stay off the cage, don't go in, and then she usually exit the cage, and she's in the center, stay in the center, stay in the center and sprawl and keep it tight. I'm saying, keep a low level and keep it tight. I believe that Rodriguez should win this fight. As I said, she's a good prospect here. Like I said, Gillian can get a submission though. You just never know in this fight, man. It happens. Even though you're a good prospect, Gillian Robertson is very experienced and she's good at the submissions. And if she can just get Pereira down, which Pereira can get taken down in the first round especially, and that's when Gillian Robertson is going to hunt. In the first round, she's going to hunt for that. So if Pereira Rodriguez is not careful, she could get submitted in this fight. But I'm gonna go with Rodriguez though, guys. And I'm gonna say Rodriguez by decision. And I'm gonna give Rodriguez a 60% chance of winning here. So it's a 60-40. I just feel that she should win this fight. She has all the tools and she knows the submissions. She got ground defense. Her takedown defense is not bad. It just from earlier fights, she was getting taken down, but against Kay Hansen, she was, she's getting taken down, but then she came back and made adjustments, and then she was taking down Kay Hansen. But I wouldn't advise Rodriguez to take down Gillian, though. I would advise her to stay in the center and keep boxing, and keep a low level, and keep that fight where she wants to keep it, out of the clinch, and keep it long, right? And even with Sam Hughes, similar thing, you know, she was defending takedowns. She showed that she's always improving. So I'm gonna go with Piera Rodríguez, like I said, and Rodríguez by decision, and Rodríguez 60% and Gillian 40. All right. Next fight here, guys. I'm not confident, you know. Ed Herman versus Zak Cummings, man, super veterans here, guys. We know Zak Cummings and Ed Herman from way back 2003 or something like that. The early Ultimate Fighter. Super veteran, dog. Like Ed Herman is a dog, man. This guy would just take a bunch of freaking hits, keep coming forward, man. He's heavy-handed, and he will look for submissions. And it looks like he's still durable because he's still hanging in there and taking a bunch of damage and just keep on fighting. So this is a guy that's gonna keep bringing it to you. You know, he's been knocked out 3 times and submitted 6 times, but he's flat-footed though, very flat-footed, and he's just there to get hit. But if he connects, he could finish you. So this guy's a veteran. Zak Cummings is also a veteran too, and Zak Cummings is moving up to 205. All right, he's moving up to 205. Durable guy. This guy's never been knocked out. I don't believe he has ever even been dazed in a fight. I mean, from what he says. First, I'm at 205. Hasn't fought in 3 years though, and Ed Herman hasn't fought in 2 years. So this is like kind of like a barn burner here. But I feel the guy with the more durability and flexibility and more elusiveness, you know, is Zak Cummings. I feel Zak Cummings will throw the head kicks, you know, he BJJ black belts, he will look for the submissions, which Ed Herman will look for the submission too. But I just feel like Zak Cummings is just a little bit more precise and maybe a little more better fight IQ in that kind of sense, because Ed Herman is just like, he's just got a straightforward man. But then he's a dog though, man. And with a dog like that, he doesn't care. You know, I mean, just get covered, just like you hit him, bam, 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 and he just throw an overhand and catch you, and then you get knocked out. So this guy's a barn burner, guys, and 50-50. Yeah, but I must say Zak Cummings though. I must say Zak Cummings by decision, but I'm not confident, guys. All right, and it could be a fight you could just fade. You know, just don't mess around with it too much because it can go either way, to be honest. All right, so next fight here, guys. We got Brandon Royval versus Matheus Nicolau. It's a good fight here, man. Brandon Royval here, 4-inch of reach, 3-inch of height, which is massive. He's a skilled guy, man. Very skilled on the ground too. But he's hittable though. He's hittable, and he can get knocked down, dazed. And after he had a shoulder injury there against Maruno, he doesn't look like he's the same anymore. You know, he went to split decision against Rodrigo here. I guess Billy Machinal knocked him down in that fight. Almost finished him. I just feel Nicolau is just on a different level, man. Matheus Nicolau is on a different level, I feel, man. I mean, Nicolau, very rounded guy. He's very strategic, very technical. He looks for openings. He doesn't force. He doesn't rush it. You know, he gets information on you in the fights, and then he sets you up, and then bam, like he did to Machinal. David Darrux, even Manuel Cape was very technical striker, you know, and in a close fight, but he found a way to win. He's a very intelligent, smart fight IQ guy, man. And a guy like Royval is very wild. Comes in there swinging everywhere. He jump for your leg, jump for your neck. He could submit Nicolau, it's possible, right? But I just feel Nicolau is just a better fighter here. So I'm going to go with Nicolau here, guys. I'm going to say Matheus Nicolau by decision, and it's close. I'm going to say Nicolau is 60%. You know, so 60% Nicolau, 40 for Royval, all right? Am I confident? I mean, slightly, a little bit. I feel Royval is he's just there to get hit. And I don't think Nicolau is going to play with him on the ground. He's going to hit him. He may knock down Royval. Royval hit the ground. He's going to kick his legs. And then he'll get back up, knock him down again. They're going to move around. And there could be a part where Nicolau would go down with him and just prepare him up and then pull off a decision, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Nicolau. It could even be a finish. I could see Nicolau even finishing him. Strong possibility. Strong. But I see more decision here. Because it's just, you know, with Nicolau here, he know that Brandon Royval is a dangerous fighter, and he will look for submission. And the way how he fights is very light and elusive. He throws his punches out there very loosely. Keep the distance in the range. And a guy like Nicolau is going to take his time. He's not going to force it. You know what I mean? So he's not going to rush. That's why I say his decision. He's going to pepper him up, touch him up, even though Royval has a reach. But I feel Nicolau will, he will get the punches on him and will pepper him up and touch him up here and there and, get a decision in my opinion. So, like I said, Nicolau by decision. 60% Nicolau, 44 Royval. Next fight here, guys. We have TJ Brown versus Bill Algeo. TJ Bad Boy Brown. TJ Brown here is pretty well rounded guy. Will mix it up. BJJ black belt, heavy handed, but he will gas out. After the first round, he will still push a pace though, but you can tell he's not the same as he was in the first round. And he will drop the ball, right? A guy like Bill Algeo, though, Bill Algeo fights long, man, and he's technical. He has a hell of a gas tank. He's a cardio machine. He's crafty. He's going to keep coming, and his ground game is not bad. Look for takedowns. He stays on the outside. He hits you up, touch up with the punches. Very elusive with the striking. Very technical, and he keeps a good pace. With Brown. You come in like the IQ, man. I just don't feel like he's there, and he will swing wild and may force things, and he forces it and he doesn't get it, and then he just like there to get hit and taken down. So I'm gonna go with Bill Algeo here, guys. I'm gonna say Bill Algeo by decision, and I'm gonna give Bill like 60% and Brown 40. All right. Next fight here, guys. We have Clay Guida versus Rafa Garcia. Guido's a super veteran, which you guys all know Guido, right? Super veteran, very hittable, and he got more hittable over the years, but he's still fighting the same though. He's bouncing around. He's an Energizer Bunny. He's there in front of you, bouncing around, going for double single legs, and if he doesn't get it, he throws overhand hooks and just keep bouncing and moving and switching his stance. So he's still there, has a very high pace. Can get submitted, can get hurt on the foot, can get dazed. But he's well-rounded and he's crafty veteran, man. And crafty veterans like this, can't sleep on them. No, it all depends on the matchup, though. A guy like Scott Holtzman, carry a lot of muscle, zero cardio. If he had the cardio, he would have beat, Clay, but doesn't have the cardio. A guy like Garcia, though, Garcia can guess, but he can still carry a good pace on him. Has a strong wrestling base, heavy-handed. He will look for the submissions. He's known more for the submissions than his knockout, but he does throw heavy though, and he will push a high pace and is durable. This is a guy I don't believe he has been finished. It's a fight that's like both guys gonna do the same thing, but I just feel like the more durable guy here is Garcia, in my opinion. Both guys are gonna do the same thing. They're gonna bounce around. They're gonna push a heavy pace, and they may even push for takedowns, which they are. But I just feel a more durable guy, and the guy's gonna hit a little harder is Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Clay get touched up by Garcia is gonna get hurt, in my opinion. But again, you can't sleep on Clay Guida though, because he's a super veteran, and he usually comes in there and pull off these fights against upcomer guys, But I'm gonna go with Garcia for this one, but I could be wrong though, guys. And this one, I'm gonna say Garcia 60%. I just feel it's a fight that Garcia should win. There's Clay. He's gonna throw punches. He may push for takedowns, but his punches don't really pack that much power. He's more pepper shot. But I feel Garcia, he can take that, and carry a pace though, and follow up with his punches and even go for takedowns. You know what I mean? And I feel he can get Garcia. He can get Clay down. I feel Clay may have a harder time getting Garcia down. You know what I'm saying? And then Garcia going to counter, and I could see Clay even getting hurt. I could even see Clay getting finished. It's a possibility. But I'm going to say Garcia by decision. I'm going to say Garcia 60%, Clay 40%. I'm not confident. All right. Next fight here, we got Pedro Munez versus Chris Gutierrez. Good fight here, man. Munez, very experienced guy. Very experienced. Fought almost everybody. Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, Jimmy Rivera, Frankie Edgar's, Aljamain Sterling, Cody Garbrandt, Brett Jones, John Dodson, Rob Font, which even beat Rob Font. Heavy-handed, high pace, heavy leg kicks, BJJ black belt. Doesn't really push the takedowns like usual. Usually when it stands and you want to stand with you and kick the legs and kind of wear you out. A guy like Chris Gutierrez though, Chris Gutierrez has improved and been getting better. This guy is a very skilled fighter. Very technical, sees the openings and land the technique like we saw against Frankie Edgar, right? You know, enough respect to Frankie Edgar. You know, he's actually retired and took a bad knockout there, and hopefully, he goes on with his life and live a long life without any serious damages, right? But Chris, man, well-rounded skill guy, good striking, good distance and range management, timing is on point, and he has heavy leg kicks too. I feel like he throws better leg kicks than what Pedro Munhoz throws, more damaging leg kicks. But Munhoz does have damaging leg kicks too. But a guy like Chris is just so versatile, man. Spinning back kicks, spinning heel kicks, his combinations, his setup punches with the kicks, his timing is way better than Pedro Munhoz. I feel Pedro Munhoz's problem here is going to be too flat-footed. A guy like Chris his footwork is excellent footwork. Excellent footwork, and that's going to win him this fight, in my opinion. I'm going to go with Chris Gutierrez here. I'm going to say Chris Gutierrez by decision. I'm going to give Chris 60% because, like I said, Munhoz is a veteran, and he fought a lot of tough competition. He fought better competition than what Chris has fought, man. I mean, by a long shot. But I just feel it's the matchup, and I feel Chris has improved, and Chris has that striking background from way back. That's his that's his base. But when we're looking at the takedowns and the ground game, which his ground game has been getting better too, but Munhoz has that ground game too, so he can mix it up if he wants to. But again, I said, but Chris has the ground defense and show that that he's been getting better. He got submitted by Ronnie Barcelos. Was early in his career there, right? It was the Ultimate Fighter 26 finale. But he showed that the ground game has been getting better, you know what I mean? But again, you can't sleep on Munhoz. You see, when it comes to these veteran guys, man, or these guys and these upcoming guys are fighting them, man, can't really sleep on them. But we saw how Pedro Munhoz looked against Sean O'Malley. I felt Sean O'Malley was winning that fight. I feel Sean O'Malley was touching him up until the eye poke. So if Sean O'Malley can do that to him, I feel Chris Gutierrez would beat Sean O'Malley, in my opinion. I feel Chris Gutierrez is a better fighter than Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is a skilled striker, but I feel Chris Gutierrez has done it more longer and is more versatile. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going with Chris Gutierrez. Like I said, 60%, 40 for Munhoz. Next fight here, guys, we have Ian Tutalaba versus Tanner Boser. This fight is a toss-up here, guys. Ian will look for the takedowns. Very aggressive, guys. Over-aggressive. But he's very wild, man. And can get hurt in the foot. And can get finished. And he will gas out, man. That's basically it. The guy on a 3-fight losing streak. Been finished every single fight. I mean, Devin Clark was his last win back in 2021. He's just a guy that's over-aggressive. He just comes in there with everything in the first round, and if he doesn't get it, he gasses out. A guy like Tanner Boser, it's a heavy-handed guy. He can get taken down though, but he's been showing that he's been getting kind of better with the takedowns. He's showing that he can get up back to his foot. He just doesn't lay on his back like that. Now he's going down to 205 now. So he was at 265, and from what I see, from off the Instagram and stuff like that, from all my research I've been doing, kind of look good at 205. He looks very in shape. And 205 is going to be lighter, quicker. You know what I mean? And his striking is not bad. He has a karate base. His technique is not bad. I can see him getting a win here, man. I just can't trust Ian, man. I have more faith in Tanner Boser. So I'm going to go with Tanner Boser by KO in the second round. And a guy like Ian has fought at 265, a bigger weight class, so he's kind of known for that too. But I feel, Boser, should be a little quicker here, but I just can't trust Ian, man. He does the same thing in the fight. So Tanner Boser, KO second round, 50-50 fight, guys. Next fight here, guys, we got Dustin Jacoby versus Azamat Mazonov. Jacoby here has a 7-inch of reach, guys, 5-inch of height, which is massive. Very technical striker, skill, experienced guy. Was in UFC way back. He left and came back. This guy's a pretty good fighter, man. he will break you down. You touch up and break you down. You go slow, then speed it up. Slow, touch it, bam. Touch it, bam. And he mix up the kicks, a lot of leg kicks, a lot of jabs and follow up. I felt he beat Rountree. They robbed him in that fight, man. He touched up Rountree in that fight. I mean, Rountree landed a couple, one or two big shots, but I mean, we're talking about rounds by rounds, man. Jacoby was just touching him up, man. Like touching him up with jabs and straights. I believe in the third round, Rountree probably could have won, but I felt like Jacoby won that fight. But it is what it is. Leaving the hands of judges. That's what happened, man. A fighter like Azmat, though, Azmat is very light on the foot, though. Striking base, technical. Look for the wrestling. Kind of have like a sambo vibe to him. There, boxing vibe, kind of land the foot. But he would slow down, though, man. And a guy like Jacoby with the height and reach advantage like that, he's gonna touch this guy up. Against when he fought Tough On. In Tough On, he didn't look good in that fight, and there's parts of the fight where he was fading, and Tough On was winning 1 round, 2 round, and the third one was winning until he got, the flying knee. So the guy is technical, and he would look to finish you. You know what I'm saying? Even in Devin Clark fight, Devin Clark was touching him up a little bit, but he will look for the finish, though, man. This guy is a very good fighter. Came off the Contender Series, but a guy like Jacoby, man, is just seasoned, man. Jacoby is a very seasoned striker, man. And like I said, with Azmat, he seems to want to stand up more, and Jacoby takedown defense has been getting better. So I'm kind of liking Jacoby in this one, guys. And I'm going to say Jacoby by decision. I'm going to give Jacoby 60%, so 60% to 40 for Azmat. Like I said, Azmat's not a bad fighter. I just feel like, with Jacoby, just to hide and reach, he's going to play a huge factor here, guys. All right. Next fighter, guys, co-main event. We got Edson Barboza versus Billy Quarantillo. When I saw this fight, I was like, oh, Edson should win this fight. But, I always watch fights, guys. I always go back and watch the fights of the guys, especially the last fight. Edson going to have the 5-inch reach here. He's well-rounded, but can get taken down. And he will get back up. It depends on who he's fighting, but most of the time he's on his back for a long time. Technical striking, heavy leg kicks, his switch kicks are quick, but he has been getting, hit a lot, and he's very hittable now, man. Very hittable, and he can get taken down. From what I saw from his last fights, even his kicks and stuff, it just seemed like he's forcing it. It's like it's not flowing like it used to be. Like he's throwing it out there, but it's not relaxed. Like he's just forcing it. You know what I mean? And his pace, he fades, and he's at that 140, 146, 145 weight classes. I feel like it's too much of a low weight class for him. A guy like Billy Quarantillo, this guy's a well-rounded guy, has a high pace on him. He's hittable, but he's durable, have a high pace, lots of forward pressure. And he would start slow in the first, but he would pick it up in the second and push a high pace, man. And, I don't think, Edson Barboza can hang with this, man. So, like we see with Alexander Hernandez, Alexander was beating him up in the first round, then he come back in the second and won the fight. You know what I mean? I just feel like Billy is just durable, more durable, and can push a higher pace. That's just it. I feel Barboza would fade out in the fight. So I'm gonna go with Billy here, but I'm not confident. Like I said, Barboza could have a chance here if it's just striking, but I feel Billy would probably mix it up with takedowns. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I'm going to go Billy 50-50, but I'm not confident here. So, yeah, that's basically it, guys. Billy by decision, 50-50%. Next fight here, guys. We got Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen, the main fight in the card here. Max Holloway here, he's very experienced, man. This guy's a very experienced guy. Very skilled guy. Can take this fight anywhere. Striking is not bad. But over time, though, he's become more hittable, though. And especially against his last fight against Alex Volkanovski, he was getting a lot of hits. Especially straight up the pocket. Doesn't seem like he handles it. It doesn't seem like he handles it well. Seemed kind of like days in some parts of the fight. It just takes a lot of damage. So it became more hittable. But he's experienced, though. Piera Rodríguez, Calvin Kattar. He fought Volkanovski 3 times, Frankie Edgar's, Dustin Poirier, Brandon Taggers, Jose Aldo's, Anthony Pettis, Charles Oliveira. I mean, this guy is like, he is, you know, the UFC, you know, for that 145 weight class. You know, he is the guy. If you want to fight champion, you know, you have to go through Max. I'm not saying he's a gatekeeper, but you know, I mean, a guy like Allen though, Allen been improving, man. You know, Arnold Allen has been improving, man. You know, skilled guy. He's pretty well rounded. We mix up the takedowns. He's getting better. Every time I see him, he's getting better, and he's very, very technical. Very, very, very strong, especially in the pocket with the punches. Very technical guy, and he's becoming a very heavy hitter. What I saw against Dan Hooker, you know, is pretty impressive. Even Yusuf, it was a pretty good fight there, and Calvin Carter, you know, I think he blew out his knee. You know, hopefully he recover well from that. So this is a guy that's been improving, and he seems to be a very smart guy with a smart fight IQ. So he just doesn't go in there. Well, he did go in there and kind of swing, you know, against Dan Hooker, and he did get caught on the counter and get slightly kind of hurt, but he recovered quick. It's a 5-round fight though. I don't feel like Allen has fought a 5-round fight though, you know. And a guy like Max would push a heavy pace, but again, if Allen throws his punches like how he did against Yusuf and Dan Hooker and Kevin Carter, if he throws his punches like that and connect to Max, I can see Max getting hurt. I don't know if he can finish Max though, because Max gonna keep coming. But the more you get a hit, the more tired you're going to get in every single round. The more beat up you're going to get, the more cut you're going to get. You know what I mean? I just feel like, I just feel Allen is a more durable guy here. You know, I feel Allen is a more durable guy here, man. I just feel like he's a guy that's just been improving. He's just improving, getting better and better and better. He shows in every fight, man. You know, even against Calvin Carter, was touching him up and until he messed his knee up. And the way he messed his knee up, he dove in for a knee, and Allen just sidestep him, and then he landed bad on the leg. You know, I'm gonna take a shot with Allen here, man. I'm gonna say Arnold Allen here. I'm gonna say Arnold Allen by decision, guys. But I'm not confident in this one. It's just a 50-50 for me because, like I said, it's a 5-round fight. I never really seen Allen on a straight 5-round all the way. You know, the Calvin Carter was a 5-round, but he didn't even go there. You know what I mean? And I don't think Max has ever been. I think Max has been submitted, but never been knocked out or something like that. He's been submitted, and Allen has submissions. Allen has submissions. Allen's never been finished, so Allen's a smart fighter, man. So this fight could potentially be a finish for Allen. Allen could look for a submission, possibly even a knockout. You guys never know. But I must say decision, though. I must see what happened here. 50-50, though. I must say Allen by decision. I'm not confident, guys. All right. Quick look at the odds here, guys. See what we're working with. Crazy odds. Some wild odds here. Hopefully not. Jocelyn Edwards plus 15, Lucie Pudilová 140. Kind of a close fight. I could see Lucie being a favorite here, so it's not too bad here, guys. But still be careful, like I said, about the women fights. Aaron Phillips and Gastón Bolaños. Man, guys. I think Gastón is way too freaking high. Even though I say he's a good striker, though, but I don't feel like he's that well-rounded, man. Remember, I'm telling you this. Remember, guys, listen to my breakdowns. When I see the odds, listen to my breakdowns. Usually, I'm sometimes right on it. And Phillips coming in and win the fight. So I'm marking that down in here. There's a question mark in that because the odds is way too high on Bolaños. Even though Phillips hasn't been there for 3 years, but still, BJJ black belt, he potentially can get a takedown, grind out a split. Remember, I said this. I like Bolaños though, but I feel the odds on him is too high. There should be actually an even fight, just for this the sense of like Gastón. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he's that well rounded, man. So be careful with that one, guys. Phillips could win. Bruno Brazil, Denise Gomes. Denise Gomes is underdog. Okay, I like Gomes for the win here. I can see why they're doing that though, because you know Bruno looks good on the foot. You know she keep a good range and you know pop her shots, but I just don't see her carrying that pace. I feel Gomes pushing that higher pace. and the volume. I feel she's way too high too, man. This fight should be an even fight. She's way too high. I like Gomez, but play at your own risk. Be careful with this one too, guys. Daniel Zellhuber and Vannata. Okay, this is basically kind of a close to even fight. They got Daniel as a slight favorite. Like I said, if Daniel comes in here and fight like he did in the Contender Series, he could win the fight. But is he gonna do that though? Don't know. That's why it's an even fight. I like Vannata here, but again, it's toss up, guys. They got the odds kind of right in this one slightly. Gillian Robertson, Piera Rodríguez. They got Rodríguez as the underdog. This fight here is an even fight, guys. Close to even. You know, they make Gillian Robertson a slight favorite. Okay, I could see, you know, she's more experienced, you know, submissions, you know, but I feel Piera Rodríguez is just more rounded. And she knows the submissions, and she knows the wrestling, and striking is way better. And fight starts standing up, and Gillian Robertson striking is not that good. So I'm liking Piera Rodríguez, but I could see where, you know, Robinson could may get something here. But like I said, it's kind of close to even, but it should just be an even fight all around. All right. Ed Herman and Zak Cummings. Damn, the high and Zak Cummings here, huh? Hell no. This fight here, guys, is straight up even. Straight up even fight, man. Zak Cummings hasn't been in there for 3 years. Ed Herman hasn't been in there for 2. Both guys super veterans. Zak Cummings is moving up to 205. Ah, man, this fight is even, dude. I like Zak Cummings though, but it's an even fight. Be careful. Brandon Roval underdog. Nicolau 200. Yeah, I don't disagree with this one. I feel Nicolau is a better fighter here, in my opinion. I don't disagree with the odds. Still be careful though, but I feel Nicolau is a better fighter. Billy Lego, TJ Brown. Yeah, I feel Billy Lego is a better fighter, in my opinion. Lengthy, rangy, takedowns, ground game, pace, high pace, and his condition and cardio goes a long way. Yeah, I really don't disagree. Clay Guida, Rafa Garcia. Oh man, yeah, high on Garcia. You see when you see this? I like Garcia, but it's too high. Way too high, man. A guy like Clay Guida, a super veteran that knows the game, you know, and they both kind of fight kind of similar. No way Garcia should be so high. I would put Garcia as a slight favorite though, but not at 200 though. So when you see this, man, be careful. I'm not saying that Garcia cannot win it, but it's just too high, man. Because Clay Guida is a super veteran, you know, that knows the game well and can take the fight anywhere. Pretty similar to Garcia. It's just the durability though. I would go with Garcia for more the durability. But still be careful though. Alright. Chris Gutiérrez, Pedro Munez. Chris is 200 and something. I think Chris could be a little lower in the odds, guys. Munez is a very experienced guy. And yeah, he's a very experienced guy and fought a lot of tough competition, man, that Chris hasn't faced yet. But that being said, what we saw, you know, when he fought Sean O'Malley, when Pedro fought Sean O'Malley was touching him up, and if Sean O'Malley can touch him up like that, then Chris should really can touch him up, man. And I feel Chris is a very technical striker, very skilled guy, man. But I'd be careful, you know. Chris should be a little higher. I would put Chris as favorite though, but Chris should be a little lower though. Sorry, did I say higher? Chris should be a little lower. But you know, but still be careful. Ian Cutelaba and Tanner Boser. And the high on, not really high on him. It's kind of a small favorite here. You know, I'm liking Tanner Boser. I will put this fight straight up even, guys. Straight up even though it's kind of close. But a favorite in Ian here. But I'm liking Tanner Boser though. Asmat and Jacoby, okay, they like Jacoby. I don't see nothing wrong with this. Jacoby got a reach, height. In my opinion, is a very seasoned striker. Height and reach. You know, I mean, he's gonna touch up Asmat. Even though Asmat is skilled boxing striker, but the reach, bam, 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 you know. So I really don't disagree with this one. Billy Quarantillo, Edson Barboza, Billy 175, 180. I put this a little bit closer fight. I may edge Billy here, but fights like this, man, a veteran guy like Edson, but Edson just, like I said, he's just been getting a lot of hit lately. He's very hittable. He's not as durable as he used to be. His kicks are still firing, but they don't look the same. And I feel Billy carried that high pace, man. So yeah, so I'm liking Billy here, but it could be a little closer though. Arnold Allen, no, underdog here, and Max Holloway, of course. Max Holloway, very experienced guy, fought the champions, you know. Man, I don't know what to say about this one, guys. I mean, you probably would say Max Holloway the favorite, right? But I just feel Allen, you know, may possibly have this fight. I feel Allen may win this fight, in my opinion. So that's just me. Again, play at your own risk. You know, nothing guaranteed here. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Okay, so yeah. So that's it there, guys. My odd breakdowns there. Like I said, listen to my odd breakdowns. You know, a lot of times I give a lot of good hints here. You know, there's sometimes I may not get the win. You know, but you know, if you listen to the odds, and you know, I tell you that, oh, do not mess with that. Don't mess with that. The guy's too high. All right, guys. So one love out to everybody. Check out my Patreon. Sign up to that. You can donate to my PayPal account. Subscribe. You know, hit the thumbs up. And let's get it, man. All right. One love out to everybody. Os.